Greetings on Pillar Nexus with the first few rounds of Nippon Zaibatsu. Forgive me if there's any buzzing in the background, that is my fan. It is hot in here again. Alright, two-player game setup. So, I'm going to be using these spaces up here. Only these spaces over here. Something I actually neglected to cover in the main video. So next to some of these points values is the 3-player symbol. Those points are only used in the 3 or 4-player games. So, we're figuring out who's got the influence at the end. We will ignore that points. If you're wondering why there are D12s here, this is going to be used to count the overseas influence. And also to that end, I'm going to include a little token to count how well the overseas do scoring the regional influence. Just for fun. Yeah, 2-player game. Everybody's got their stuff. Starting train, cheaper factories. So starting with purple. Everything's been set up, so we'll just get right to it. So what it will take to build a factory is money. Straight money, and we can make it cheaper. How are these going to help? This could let me get my R&D or mining up. This could get me silk. This could get me points. Silk is gonna be useful throughout the game, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this worker and build a factory for 4. I'm currently at R&D level 1, so I'm gonna need 1 silk to temporarily get my R&D up to 2. And what we're going to do is look at the board a little bit better. If we're trying to do influence here, cotton is going to be very helpful. And that's within my reach. Paper's going to be good for for knocking out overseas influence over here. Or over here, but only by about half or a quarter of it. I think going with cotton is going to be the key here. All right. So with this one, its special ability is whenever a factory or a machine is put onto it, I can advance my R&D, which will help me later on. So we're going to go with that one. Slot that in right there. I've done my action. The worker will go there. And I may potentially get... I'll get silk at the next consolidation. So over to orange. Again, using my 500 yen coin as a way of keeping track of whose turn it's supposed to be. Alright, let's look at what orange has got going. They've already got their influence here. If they can get something here as well. I imagine purple was paying attention and realized, oh hey, I need to start setting up influence over here to counteract the potential that might happen from orange. Well, they don't have silk, so they can't cheat their way on the factories. So the key is probably going to be R&D right away. And what we'll do is we'll take this worker and go to college. Get that R&D built up fast. We'll spend 6 to go up 3 steps, and then moving it to this point will let me get my coal department But now I can get one of the lower level factories without needing silk. And that worker comes here and comes back to purple. Alright. Well, to run this factory, I'm going to need coal, and I've got 2 already. But maybe if I can put in a machine, I can start making things a little more accessible for high-level goods. We're going to go ahead and take the blue worker and spend our last 5 money and build a machine. Building that machine here on this factory gets me my 2 R&D. So now the next factory I build out of this level, I don't need to use silk to temporarily boost my R&D. Alright. And then that worker comes here. And we continue on. The orange player. They don't have a factory yet. They've got plenty of coal, though, to make whatever factory they need. Let's take a look here. We've got money. Could also... We've got iron. Improving the department we know we've got a worker that won't take advantage of might be a strategy to consider. Let me go ahead and send this worker, or wait, build up iron first. Or just say screw it, let's just do it anyway. 5 money, 1 change, and 1 iron to build a ship. Now, the moment I get, the moment I build this machine, I'm going up 2 on finance. We're going to go to London. No, not London, Paris. Approved coal department. And that worker. Alright. Okay. That worker will come here and pass this back to purple. And now I'm a step ahead on this track. I'm going to go to consolidate. Let me revisit how expert workers... Is that really the point of the expert worker? I'm curious. And this is why I like messing with the game. With videos like this. Alrighty. Okay. Okay, space other workers area of yours. Let's see. So the way this is going to happen, I'm going to take worker. So the timing is, the worker comes here first for the action happens, and then the expert worker from that action then comes there. Alright. So there's a way to get certain a certain worker up high if you do that boat action at the right time. Okay, back to purple. They're going to produce, and to do that they're going to use yellow, and they're going to spend 2 coal And with their machine, they are making 2 cotton goods. That'll fill that in. If I had more coal, I could go back to the. I could do that again and max this out. But I don't, so. It's going to pass over to orange. Orange is going to remember what the hell they were trying to do. They've only got one money left and a ton of coal and no factory built. That is a problem because consolidation hits, all that coal goes away. Where else could coal be spent is the problem. And apparently there's no other way to really spend the coal other than to run a factory. Is there a way to get money? No. They built another train. So all the coal they started out with is gonna get squandered because they're not in a good position right now. What we'll probably end up doing is looking at what can I put here that's gonna help future that consolidation step. I'm already gonna get coal back anyway. That's gonna soften the blow a little bit, you know. Uh, one money. One money. Go here and improve mining this step. And it gives me 2 differently colored workers for consolidation to get me both bonuses. Alright. And it comes back to purple. They can then go get points, get coal. Cool. Alright. So they're selling cotton. And they have to sell enough to make it worth it. 2 cotton is 2 influence, or 2 1 influence, and I only have 1 influence. Yeah, only having the 1 factory right now is it's kind of rough. So let's see. Yeah, because we have to like equal or exceed it. Or no, we have to exceed it, the previous influence, and that's only going to work. Here gets me money. Here gets me iron, which does not get lost in consolidation, so that might be worth it. And I can go towards the next factory. Or towards more trains and ships to start unlocking this. Maybe that's the strategy right there. Our 2 cotton gets 2 influence over here, bringing down the overseas influence to 11, and getting me $3. Alright. Alright. And that'll pass over to orange. Who has to say goodbye to the great big pile of coal? Alright. Well, let's take a look at what we're aiming at here. Consolidation. Take a favor token next to your topmost worker. what am I planning for here, honestly? Not being able to build a factory is going to suck. Gonna lose points because I can't pay everybody. It's going to suck even worse. Alright. Going to plan for the finances to hopefully be better than this. Alright. Discard all money and coal. Goodbye, big pile of power grid resource. Then gain all department bonuses. So here and here means I get one movement. I'm going to move up on R&D. And 3 coal. Wait. The department bonus is 3 coal. What I'm actually getting is 2. And on top of that. So it's not a complete loss. And then 12k. 12 money. I cannot spend my last one. So I'm keeping 3k. No, I have to spend as much as possible. So I'm stuck with 100 with 1, and I go down a point. Ugh. And then all the workers go back where they go. Expert worker goes back to Paris. Oh. The workers from the board go back to the bag. Alright. This is clearly a game that can screw you if you're not thinking. If you fail to build any factory whatsoever, you're going to have to hit you're going to have to hit an early consolidation, and it's going to suck. You have to consolidate with at least one worker in your workers area. So what happens if you cannot do anything then? Can you take a worker and just not do it? Because this is a bad point to be at right now. 1 money, no factories built. With 1 money, I can take the R&D or the mining improvement action. And that's something. That's how you end up being not screwed. Is that last one you get, you take one of these actions, and then you'll have to take an immediate consolidation afterwards, and that'll get you some surplus cash to work with. But yeah, it is clear that you don't build that factory, you are screwed. Either get up your R&D or get that silk and get a factory early. Alright. Well, to continue to rub it in Orange's face, that's just how badly they screwed up. Let's go ahead and consolidate. Or, I have 3k. I'm going to lose it anyway. Let's use it before we lose it. Alright. With 3k in yen. Let's see. I can improve R&D. I can improve mining. Because I used all my goods, I can't do anything contract-wise. Having more coal to work with for production is nice, but I'm already going to be getting the... Unless... If I move up the R&D, that gets me that bonus, but then I don't... I'll lose that coal anyway. So the smarter thing to do is take... We'll go ahead and take... We'll take black. Let's spend the 3K and improve our mining by 2 steps. Alright. And we got that. And then I'll come back to orange. Ooh, one moment. Apologies for that. Alright. Orange, at the situation they're at right now, they're going to have to take one of these actions to improve something. I'm going to take this worker to improve mining by spending 1. Only one they got. There we go. And it passes back to purple. And now purple consolidates. Alright. Take a favor token. What is it clear that we're going to be able to do here? I'm thinking... factories. Either factories or... Oh yeah, I'm going to have a problem. I'm not going to be able to pay everybody here because my finances are shit. Oops. I'm going to say machines. Machines, level 2, favor. Alright. Discard all money and coal we have. That has all been spent. Department bonuses and income. We get 14, which I'm going to be spending all but 1 for. So 13 against 15 is -2. Okay. Orange gets last laugh on that one. Alright. Coal, I'm going to get 3, 4, 5 for the department bonuses. I'll get 2 silk because that's the bottommost. Alright. That's clear. Oh. I am getting ahead of myself here. So, after orange took their action, before I do my consolidation, those workers get added. Alright. Yeah. So, worker refill. Make sure I'm doing that right. Nothing. Okay. Taking the last worker. Just to make sure it's not... Okay. Alright. I'll leave it up. Alright, that's... Alright. That went... That's done. Back to orange. And now they have to consolidate. They've got their 1 worker. There's no favor to take. Discard all money and coal. I'm going to be getting 3 of that coal back anyway. I'll get 12 minus 3 is 9. 9 is something I can work with. Just need to be smarter about it. Worker goes away. Okay. Going back to purple. Let's see here. I could spend Silica's money, but holding on to it is gonna be for the better, I think. But without the money to build the factory, it doesn't. It's not gonna help either way. So, produce. All right. Spend 2 coal and get 2 cotton. And emptying out that space empties that out, which ends the round. All right. Only if I need to move workers, and there aren't any. And around page 18. All right. Okay. So depending on what happens next, it might end the round. But for now, we got production. All right. Back to orange. Orange is going to do the thing they should have done sooner and build a factory. They are currently at R&D 3. Building a factory being 6. So they're going to look at what else they got to work with here. If they try to compete on cotton, or they could try to focus on paper. Paper's got a lot of, yeah, you could do 1 and get your boots in the region that way. Here, I think the pre-printed stuff is actually, you ignore it, I believe. Now that I think about it, because otherwise 3 on paper makes no sense down there. Again, this is why I try to do stuff like this to help me talk it out and get it down. Ignore pre-printed influence values. So, if I can get to 3 cotton, if I can get to 4 cotton, we can deal with this later. The strategy. Alright. So for 6K and taking the R&D guy, or gal, who knows, build factory at R&D level 3 or less. If I take this one in a monument, it gives me a way to compete on cotton, which I might have to do. And it also gives me my R&D bump of 2, which gets me my bonus, my influence token of 3. Alright. Cool. Got that. So got workers there. Back to purple. Purple. Continue production. Yeah. Continue production. They realize what they're trying to do, and they're gonna have to get to it faster. Spend 2 coal, make more goods. About to see a power move next turn. Alright. Back to orange. Yeah, if I could produce more, it would max it out. Because it's maxed out at 4, any extra goods would be discarded. Yeah, orange. We'll take production as well. But they're also thinking about maybe trying to build up their money development. We got 1, and that'll be good enough to just get the bump or get the contract. Alright. Comes back to purple. Alright. And they're going to go ahead and do the influence. We're going to take the yellow. We're going to pick this region here. 1 cotton and 3 cotton. Boom. Set it up here, and each of those, I can either take 2 victory points or 2 coal. If I take coal twice, I can produce again, and then have goods for doing the contracts or improving the finances there. Which is what I'm going to do. Okay. Make sure I'm not missing anything else on, like, putting out the stuff, serve the market, getting the bonus. Yeah, I'm doing that right. Alright. And that cuts down the overseas influence to 6. So they're still on top there, but at least I'm right behind them. Okay. Back over to orange. You know, a machine would be so nice right now. Unfortunately, it's more than I can afford. So, let's see. We can't build another factory. Put in another train doesn't help. I just need to put out 1 cotton somewhere to not be completely screwed. Or, we just go ahead and do this option and spend the 1 good of 1 type and improve money by 2 steps. Yeah, improve money by 2 steps, and that way I've got some more to work with later. We've got time before the scoring happens, the regional scoring. Alright, back to purple. They're down to 1 money, but production is always going to be helpful. I'm thinking, though, I'm going to get coal. I'm going to get iron if I take this one. Yeah, iron. We'll take that. We'll take this guy, or gal, put them to the factory and make 2 more goods by giving up 2 coal. Alright. Now that that spot is empty, we need to refill. Cannot do so. We're not scoring, so the round marker moves. Add a random worker from the bag to each hiring space if there are less than 3 workers on that space. Do not discard any workers currently sitting there. So, the game will be longer. No, I can't first. If people have been doing different things. If for whatever reason people are doing the same things. then they're not really playing the game a lot wisely, are they? Alright. Whole lot of foreign affairs professionals out there. Alright. That was purple taking their turn. That's the start of the new round. Now we've got until something happens to knock out the labor market again for the scoring phase to happen. We're already here. Screw it. Let's just keep playing. You know what? I like exploring this. Alright. Going to produce, which will immediately require that to be refilled. Spend the coal, get the good. Alright. You know, use it or lose it. Back to purple. Let's see. Getting money for a factory. Where can I get money for a factory? You got a blue guy. Because that department, the blue, if I get the blue guy, they'll cover himself. Let's see here. Right, if I can send a ship to London, I need iron. It's a problem. And the only ways to get iron are have the person in gray at the top when you consolidate. I think we're going to just take the contract option. We'll go here. I get one good of one type. And use that. We get iron now. Or improve my financial situation so that things are going to be better for me during consolidation. This worker pays for himself, and that leaves me quite a bit of money to work with. Okay, that's done. What's orange going to do? Down to 1 coal, 3k money. Maybe it's time to influence. Send out. We'll use the silk worker, and use that one influence. Yeah, one con is one influence. If we do it here, that gets iron, and iron is going to be always useful. Alright, get that 2 iron. And pass that on to purple. Now I just need to get influence where we got the train. Alright. So, what am I looking at here? Silk can be money or R&D. I need money to make a factory. There's no immediate way for me to get money. I guess it's time to consolidate. Take the favor token. What am I clearly building up here? You know, being able, if I'm building my finances. That's key. Maybe I look at the factories and see like where I can try to improve things. I think at this rate, I'm gonna try to be building up my finance capabilities. So we'll go ahead and put that one here. Alright. Discard all money and coal. Yeah. Ouch. And then gain department bonuses. So 3K in money. Or three money, or like, was it 3,000 yen? However they're doing it. Alright. And you get 2 extra coal. In addition to 3 coal. And 16 money minus the 15 that's going there gets me 1. Alright. Salaries have been paid, workers get to go home. Alright. Alright, now I've got 4K to work with. I got coal. This is enough for a factory. The silk is enough to get me up a level. And I can start developing some advanced goods. Orange. They're probably consolidating. What else can we do with 3K? Oh, that's right. Improve our shit here. But I want to keep somebody with silk at the top. That's the problem. But if I'm building that up, I don't need to worry about silk in the first place. So you know what? Extra coal for extra production. Yeah, sounds good. 3K and improve R&D 2 steps. Which means when I do oranges consolidation, we're taking this and we're probably going to put it here because it's probably going to be the best we're going to get. And it goes back to purple. I want to at least get to regional scoring before I call the video quits. So, purple's got some fresh money and looking for a way to use it. Okay. 4 money is a factory. 3 silk helps boost the level of R&D by 2 steps. So my level 2 becomes a 4. If I take lenses, lenses will help against the influence over there. But let me get even more influence over here and over here. And then the instant effect is a train. If I go with bento, whenever I improve my mining, I can get an additional step of mining and iron. Here it just gets me more coal, which would be, which is probably the thing I might very well need right now. So yeah, spend our 4 money because our factories are cheaper, and we now have a bento factory. And that gets us 4 coal right now. And that goes back to orange. Orange has to consolidate because they are maxed out. Now there's something that came to mind when I was looking, when I realized, oh hey, what, can you take the build a ship action if it would cause the expert worker to be, let's see here, ejected. You must place an expert worker in your workers area. If you can't do it, you can't build a ship. So in order to do the build a ship action, you have to have 2 spaces available in your Zaibatsu, or your worker area. One for the person you're taking for the action and one for the expert worker. Alright. Keep that page earmarked. Alright. Favor token. It's clear they're working on R&D. So R&D is going to get the big points. Discard all money and coal. Whoop-de-doo, 1 coal. And then get back the 3 coal for this bonus. The R&D step of either mining, the improvement of either R&D or mining. If I do mining, that gets me my iron department bonus. And having 4 iron to work with is going to be very useful. And then get my money of 14. I have to spend all but 1 of it. So I'm paying 13. I owe 5. I go back 5 points. Ow. And then they all go back to the bag. Yeah, you gotta be able to pay your workers, or it's just the game's just gonna kick your ass. All right, back to purple. This looks like a good time to do production, and we'll take the points guy or gal because getting ahead on points is gonna help. All right. Producing at the cotton factory for 2 coal with the machine gets 2 goods. Producing at the bento factory costs 3 coal. It gets me 1 good for that factory. Alright. This looks like a good time to maybe go fill out the contracts or improve my money situation. Alright. Back to orange. They've just not been having a good time with their money. Maybe that's the key to consolidation. Is sometimes you just gotta call it while you still have the ability to pay people. You know? And have money left over. They're going to... Well, we've got iron now. We got iron. 3 to build a train. Somewhere. Somewhere they've already got influence. Yeah. We're going to do this. We're going to take this worker and spend 3 iron on a train. And it's not a train, that's a ship. Train. Or we already have influence. Here, get 1 iron back. And that'll be good. Back to purple. They will do the contract. So 1 good of 1 type, 2 goods of another type. And for each one, can get +2 or fill out a contract. So, to do that, I went to fill the money contract. That gives us 3K or 3,000 yen or $3, whatever. And we turn that. We can leave it up. Say, yeah, I'm wondering where that money came from. Yeah, let's leave it there. All right. And that gets Filter it out, and we go over to orange. Actually, back up the bus. Not the money, the coal. The coal gives us 2, which means more production. Okay, now it goes back to orange. Orange is going to produce. We'll refill that one. They'll spend their 2 coal and get their 1 thing of cotton. The problem is they've already used their 1 influence token. They're going to have to produce more to make use of the 2 or 3s. Anyway, back to purple. Purple is going to produce, because that just makes sense. Take the yellow worker. Spend a grand total of 5 coal for the 2 factories that need it. Getting 1 bento and 2 cotton. Back to orange. They don't have enough coal there. They don't have enough iron. They don't have enough of anything. But money, use it or lose it. We take red here, improve our mining, and that'll trigger the end of the round. Alright. So, we go to influence scoring. Alright. So, the available points per region are 10, 6, and 2, based on who's actually there and how well. If a player has 0 influence in the region, they do not participate in any scoring. They get no points whatsoever. Trains only add influence if you have influence there, otherwise they don't provide anything. So let's take a look. Overseas company gets 10 points. Orange, with their 3 influence to the overseas 11, is taking 2nd. Overseas gets another 10. And orange gets 6, because that 8 is not there. Yay. Here, purple has 4. Overseas have 6. Orange does not have any because that doesn't count if they don't have the influence token there. So, overseas gets another 10. Purple gets 6, being able to come back from that. Orange doesn't get anything. Just to be sure here. Trains. Yeah. Yeah, without any influence, the trains don't provide anything. Alright. Finally, over here, overseas, and purple. 6. Not 2. Alright. By simply being in 2 regions compared to 1, purple's managed to take the lead and proceed to just leave orange behind and make them wonder if the way they're playing the game is going well for them or not. And then this will move. We'll refill spaces. And I believe this is where I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'll go ahead and refill this. I'm going to probably mess around with the game in my off hours. Just to see how things proceed. And then I'll probably start bringing the game to the store after I do the watch me play it solo video, because that needs to be done. But yeah, it's even a 2-player game is gonna take some time here. One of these will run out. We'll move that. Another one will. One of these will run out. Fill another one. It can't fill another one. This will move. And we'll do another region scoring. And hopefully we'll start beating that overseas influence. Yeah. Eventually, what I want to start seeing is getting these built to start kicking up the finance track better. And maybe even setting things up for the points here. Question is, what are people going to try to focus on here? This is decent for going with the contracts, getting the finance that way, or getting extra stuff to do other things on the turn before any potential consolidation. What's purple going to do on their turn? They have no money to build a factory. They're probably going to have to consolidate. Or they're probably going to look at doing contracts here. Or looking at the regions. Let's look at the regions here. With only one bento good and needing a 3 points to do it, it means probably not going to be able to do anything for bento until I get my next 3-point influence token. Or I try to make more and then try to do things with it. Yeah, only having so many influence tokens to work with is another tricky thing to keep in mind. You can go all in on putting influence in one region, but then you're not in any of the other ones. And being able to score each region is better than only doing one. Because if you do really well for one region, there's like max points. But getting a little bit of points from each of the regions works out a little bit better. Yeah, there's Nippon Zaibatsu, the first 3 rounds. Again, check out the game. It's a fun time. I know it's expensive, but I think it's worth it. And we'll see you at the Watch Me Play It Solo when I figure out the solo system for this game. There's some modules that I didn't mess with, though. I might mess with one of them. Actually, I'll probably wait to get to those modules. There's the late stage factories, and then there's also the common goals. I'll review those and see if one of the two is going to be good for solo play, and I'll feature one of those in that one. Alright, thanks for watching. Spiller, we'll see you next time.